Please welcome to the stage Anne Potterton from BT.
Hi everybody. Slightly fraudulent. I am from the BT apprenticeship team, but as of this Monday. Prior to that, I was working for the Sussex Council of Training Providers, and I know there's definitely a few members in the audience today, so I had that local thing, and I'm also working with BT. By Christmas, we'll have about 3,500 apprentices working for us. So I'm here today really because I believe apprenticeships and apprentices are a great way for you guys to recruit for your business, really. Graduates are great, older people are great, young people are great, but apprentices, there's a lot of really good reasons why you should consider them. I've got 15 minutes, so I'm going to try and cram in as much as I can, really. I put this up here. Tony Blair's war cry in 1997 was education, education, education. I think that what millennials are looking at now is employability, 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 and that goes from graduates looking for value for money for their degrees, which lead them into jobs. It goes for people wanting to make sure that their employers are providing them with the right skills, and it also goes to more and more young people looking at university fees, looking at, well, what does that give me at the end of it? Maybe I should look at an apprenticeship scheme where I earn as I learn. So what I'm going to cover with you today is very brief. There's a whole broad range of you in the audience. So what I wanted to do was just very quickly talk to you about the language of what people are talking about, which is the Apprenticeship Levy. Some of you will know what it is, some of you won't, so I just want to very briefly get that across and really how it's useful for you to know about it. One of those reasons will be whether you're a large employer or a smaller employer, you can get hold of that money to help train your own people. So I'm going to show you a little bit how you can spend that money. I'm going to talk you through sort of the opportunities there are for you perhaps to spend that money, and also show you a video which was put together by Brighton and Hove City Council, a few people who are here, just to kind of, as the previous speaker said, obviously video content's what you want to see, so that will hopefully make you all run off and think about taking an apprentice on at the end of this. And then one slide, I'm guessing you're giving out the slides afterwards. There's one slide with a quick where you can go to for some support. So, the Apprenticeship Levy, if you haven't heard about it, this is the government scheme to help fund its target of 3 million places for apprentices by 2020. It was introduced this year and is paid by employers who have over a £3 million wage bill, and it comes out monthly out of their national insurance. So if any of you in this room have got a £3 million wage bill, then money is coming out every month and going up into a pot, which is 0.5% of that wage bill. You can then access that wage bill to pay for apprenticeship training for new staff, so recruiting new, probably young people, but they don't have to be young, or, very importantly, to retrain existing staff. So you can use that money to retrain existing staff. And non-levy payers can access this. If your wage bill is not over £3 million a year, you can still access that money. Basically, you can say, I'd like an apprentice, I'd like someone to do the admin for my company, I'm going to take on an apprentice to do that. The government will pay 90% of the cost of that training. So that's really useful to know. And if you take on certain categories of people, they'll actually pay 100% of it, depending on the size of your business, etc. Or you may decide that you've got somebody who's worked for you for a number of years, they've been absolutely brilliant, and you'd love to put them on management training, and you could actually put them on a management degree, which I think is being run by the University of Chichester locally, £9,000 a year. You'd have to pay £900 of that because the government will pay the rest. So you might want to consider putting yourself on one of those as well. So if you are a levy payer, you pay this monthly. You've got 24 months to use the money, so if you don't use it, you lose it, and then that money that you've lost goes into the big pot to fund the rest of us who are going to be claiming 90% of the training. What you can do is you can go to training providers and get them to help you. There's a few training providers in the room that I've already seen. So if you are a non-levy payer and you think, you know what, I'd like someone to help me with my social media, and I know young people are going to be much better than that than me. I have no idea about this funding. I have no idea how to recruit somebody. Go and find a local training provider. They will help you do the recruitment. They'll help you access the funding. They'll guide you, give you the right information. They'll make it very, very easy for you to access that money. I've just sent a friend to do that. He can't believe his luck. He's got this young guy in the office who's completely sorted out his social media within the first 3 weeks of starting. And he's paying him an apprentice wage. He's paying him a good wage, but it's an apprentice wage, so it's fairly affordable for his business. And the training is being paid, 90% of it is being paid by the government. So, the basics haven't changed. Some of you will be familiar with the whole idea of apprenticeships. They haven't changed. What you need to know is that they're open to all ages. There's no upper limit. If you want to put someone who's 45 or 55 or 65 on an apprenticeship scheme, then you can. I know we're here to talk about millennials, but I thought I'd get that in. It has to be a real job, i.e. you must employ them. You need to give them employment rights just the same as any other employee you would take on, and 20% of their time is spent training. So that might be a day at college, it might be some online training, it might be sitting down with their mentor, it can be a range of things, but obviously part of it is the training. They will gain a qualification for their work, and you will get help from your training provider, and also there's potentially progression opportunities. So someone might join you, this guy who's just joined this company locally to become their digital marketeer. He will end up with a level 3 qualification, which is the equivalent of A-levels. Should he then want to, he could go on and do a degree, or he could do a degree apprenticeship. The company could fund him for another 3 or 4 years to go and get a degree in what he's interested in, and they've ended up with a very loyal, very qualified employee. There's a whole range of things on offer. I briefly mentioned this. You've got intermediate, which is kind of level 2, equivalent to sort of GCSE. Might pick someone who's a school leaver at 16, might want to do a level 2 apprenticeship. Your level 3 is kind of the equivalent of A-levels, but obviously you can do them at any age. And what is perhaps a little bit newer to the world of apprenticeships is these higher and degree level, even postgraduate level apprenticeships. You can do level 7, which is postgrad like level. You can virtually become a doctor now via the apprenticeship route. You can become a solicitor, you can become a chartered accountant. At BT, we take on 18-year-olds with good A-levels. We put them through a finance apprenticeship, 5 years, it's a degree level, it leads to CIMA chartered accountancy status. So at 23, these people are guaranteed a salary of 50 grand a year, they're chartered accountants, they've probably been managing people, and they've got 5 years work experience. Who would you employ, them or somebody who's just walked straight out of university? So it's a great opportunity for both us as employers and also for young people.
I started as an apprentice 6 years ago, and I stayed on with the centre and built myself up, and now I'm managing it. So yeah, it was a really good stepping stone for me.
We've been having apprentices over the last 3 years, and for us it's about growing our own staff.
Okay, the reason why I'm doing my apprenticeship in Brighton is because Brighton's actually given me an opportunity to do that. That's why I'm here.
Brighton Home's a very lively, colourful place to work. I think it's got lots of different businesses opportunities for them, and in particular childcare.
You're taking on people that are living in Brighton, want to work in Brighton, and for creative businesses there isn't anyone better than Brighton. Really.
Because there's so many different things you can do with an apprenticeship and where you can build up on it, and there's so many different places where you can go.
Best thing about my apprenticeship, I'd probably have to say it's the independence. It is quite a small company, so you are sort of playing a big role in the nourishment of this business.
I did my apprenticeship at DV8, and then from Yellow getting to know me and seeing all my sort of skills and things.
It just came out that Ellen really liked making computer games, and I just went, well, actually I've had this idea that I've always wanted to build architectural models in computer games.
I then got a full-time placement, a job role at Yellow afterwards.
I want to keep these apprentices so that they can then progress to become lead practitioners, to become deputies and, you know, maybe a manager.
We normally have about 4 a year and they just fit in so well into the swimming centre and they learn so much through the year, and normally they stay on with us, so it's really good to see.
They're important to our business because they're the ones that are motivated, they're enthusiastic, they want to learn.
When you're a growing business and you're taking on members of staff, it's quite an expensive process. The beauty of apprenticeships is that it's quite an efficient method of getting employees into the office.
Brighton is more open for age, diversity, culture, they're open to everything, so age doesn't mean anything.
Our current training provider that we use is called the Childcare Company.
Swim UK is our external supporter and they're amazing.
We've been taking on apprentices and they work for us 4 days a week. And then they go and do training 1 day a week at a college.
They liaise with us so that they can come into nursery and assess them in practice so they can see they're competent.
They talk through both the apprentice and the employer, what you'll see for the year, what courses they'll go on, and I think it's really nice that the apprentices get to go off-site and learn at a different location where they can see a wider variety of leisure centres.
You get sort of reports and updates on when they're attending and when they're not attending and how they're progressing.
You can then progress and get a foundation degree or a full degree.
It was very relevant training as well. And we provide a lot of training ourselves anyway, but we did feel a lot of it was covered by the course.
The more highly qualified you are, the more a benefit you are to any business.
That was a video put together earlier this year with Brighton Hove City Council, just hopefully gets across the message that it's a great thing to do. What I would like to say is it makes you feel really good if you take on apprentices. It's a really good feeling when they come in and they do well and they help you do your business. I remember sitting at a BT meeting a few years ago and the HR director said, you know what, I've just been to the Cambridge Telephone Exchange. Can we just sack the lot of them? They're so miserable. Let's put them out of their misery and get them out of there. And what he did was put an apprenticeship programme in there. And then he went back a year, 2 years later, and one of the guys came up and said, you know what, that was the best thing you've ever did. A lot of the old ones are still there, but we actually really enjoy passing on our knowledge to the young people. It makes us feel good, and the young people teach us a lot as well, and we've all, basically they've all cheered up a lot. So it's a good thing to have young people in your workplace. Makes you feel good, it's a good thing to do, and the structure is in place. Actually, a lot of companies are starting to use apprenticeship schemes rather than grad schemes because grad schemes are a little bit woolly, whereas apprenticeship schemes are very structured because they are run by the government and they have to be, and then lead to a qualification. So you take one on, you kind of helped to do the right thing and make sure the young person or the older person comes out the other end knowing what they should know. So it can help you do your job easier. I don't have a lot of time, but what I did want to do was do a quick whiz through of the sort of things you might be interested in training people in. And what I've done is give you the amount of money. So remember, that's the price of the course. You would pay, if you're a small employer, you're going to pay 10% of that price. So if you want to take on a welder, you're paying £900. Level 3, digital marketeer is worth 12k, so you're getting a young person in your business and the government are virtually paying you, £1,100 to train someone up for your business. You will benefit from that. Retail team leader, you've got a team leader who's running a team. Get them trained up. You can do it for 10% of that, 500 quid. Level 4, 5 and 6 and upwards are coming in. There's some great stuff going on in Brighton and Chichester locally, so Brighton are getting some healthcare stuff. I just saw today that Brighton have got, I don't quite know when it's going to happen, but over the next 12 months, 2 years, they're going to be doing construction level degrees, degree apprenticeships. Chichester do that digital and technology solutions professional. The chartered management one is a great one to maybe put existing stuff on. So that is all available to you. These slides are going out. What I have done is my old company's just got a great new website actually. So if you go to that website, that link, we've got a page in there for employers, and it links you to the government site where you can find all about what you need to do and find apprenticeship providers. It will give you a little bit of information so you can read around it a little bit more. It'll link you to a local site where you can find local training providers, but that one link will kind of take you to all the links that you need to go to take on your apprentices and benefit from having those great people in your buildings. So, thanks for listening to me. Unfortunately, I can't stay because it is my first week at my new job and I kind of need to go back to it. However, there are a few people in the audience that I'm going to put. Lisa's down here, Rachel's there, Carla is somebody. There are a few people around who know an awful lot about apprenticeships. So, when you finish and you do your drinks and think of me back at my desk, grab those people, they can definitely tell you a lot more. So good luck with it. And Lisa's waving there, so thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.